So my son had a long-distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great, a really nice girl, and we all loved her, welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, like a weekend a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling. He said no. And my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl is great for him, she was willing to move over to our country too, but said there was one condition, and that was he'd have to fly over to her country too. Which is fair enough. He said no, he didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, eventually telling his girlfriend and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere including holidays, etc. Last week, he told us she's dumped him. I went on her Facebook page as we're all still friends. She wrote us an apology letter about how she's upset it didn't work out, but these things happen, so we're on good terms, and looks like she's with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him whilst still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision, and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns lessons for the next one because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. Wife and son are very upset that I said this. Very upset, and my wife says I am being horrible. Am I the idiot? I stand by what I said. Not the idiot, but a sticky situation. Your son was in the wrong, and he needed to hear it, but because he is your son I can see why your wife would be mad at you for saying that. If you said it bluntly it could sound cold and mean, but if you had a nice talk with your son and communicated better it would work for telling him when he is being stupid. You could start off in a supporting manner saying stuff like there are other fish in the sea yada yada, etc. And then tell him that he could have been a better boyfriend. You're the idiot. This sometimes, to quote the Big Lebowski, you aren't wrong, Walter. You're just an idiot. Yes, he was lazy. Yes, she should have broken up with him. That said, no one wants their father, someone who should be their most ardent supporter, shaming them in their moment of vulnerability. Save it for when you're both reminiscing or reflecting. Give him time to reach that conclusion on his own and support him through his growth. Don't shove it down his throat so you can feel good because you're right. Not the idiot. Especially after seeing some of the comments between OP and everyone. The truth hurts, but need to be heard. Especially if it relates to being a bad romantic partner. It's either learn or be miserable or end up someone who has no self-respect cause that's all you could get being a jerk. It sounds like OP gave their 24-year-old son some great advice, some tough loving with kindness and good intentions. You might want to have a convo with mom and wife about where this babying of a 24-year-old is going in terms of his personality. My wife has been vegetarianish as long as I've known her, 10 years, but last fall she made the leap to full vegan. I was, and am, very supportive of her not eating meat before the change, and have been very supportive of her since then. We have 3 kids aged 7 to 1. My wife and I agreed that, while veganism is the right way for ethically conscious adults, it currently does not meet the nutritional needs of growing children in the same way an omnivorous diet does. We've seen the horror stories of children and pets starving and dying at the hands of vegan parents, and are staying far from that. Our agreement means our kids eat a regular Omni diet and my wife doesn't have to prepare any meat. Simple. My middle kid will be 5 next week and my wife is spearheading the whole event. Today she started trying out cake recipes. I'm usually the taster and provide feedback as honestly as I can. Tonight there was a cake cooling and she told me she'd let me try it as soon as it cooled and she'd made frosting. I tried the cake. It was off. I was confused for a moment, then it hit me. Did you adapt this recipe to make it vegan? Yeah, I figured I needed to start now if I wanted to have something workable by the party. I put the cake down. Why are you making a vegan cake? None of the children are vegan. She became defensive. I wanted to make sure there were options. I don't know what everybody's diet is like. Are you making a non-vegan cake? No, I just wanted to make something everybody could eat. You're the only vegan who will be at the party. You don't know that, other parents could be too. But none of the kids are. So what? I'm going to be at the party too. Right, but it's not your party and you're not a guest. You forcing everybody to eat vegan when it's not your birthday is extremely selfish. This turned into a fight. I'm an idiot, she's disconnected and selfish. She refuses to see how her refusing to make anything not vegan for our child's birthday isn't insane. Finally, she told me that I should make the freaking cake and stormed out of the room and refuses to talk to me. She set up shop in the guest room and I'm sleeping alone tonight. I'll admit to saying petty crap as she walked away. Can you even hear yourself? Hey kids, the only cake is vegan, there are no alternatives. I'm not forcing veganism on you, but if you don't choose the vegan option then you get nothing. Happy birthday, son. I will make the cake, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not half as talented, but I've done it before, and I'll do my best. My son is starting kindergarten in the fall, I know he's nervous, and I want him to feel confident and excited with all his friends around him. Am I the idiot for telling my wife she's selfish for refusing to make our son a non-vegan birthday cake? You're the idiot, mostly for phrasing this as your wife being selfish. She's not. She's just trying to make something everyone, including her, can enjoy. It's not going to kill your kids, or anyone else, to eat one vegan cake. You should have just offered to make a second cake, as in you bake it yourself, or buy it, from the get-go instead of insulting your poor wife. I don't know how she values things exactly, but if someone I loved called me selfish I'd feel pretty hurt. Besides, 2 cakes is always better than 1, right? You're the idiot. It's a cake. It's not gonna be the epitome of nutrition in the first place. The cake just doesn't have egg and uses milk substitute. She's not imposing veganism. That's like saying, if someone who is vegetarian hosts a party they have to cook meat. Or Jews and Muslims have to cook pork. If she's the host, then she chooses what to make. There are plenty of good vegan recipes out there. This just might not be one of them. I have an awesome one for blondie brownies. Not the idiot. But she could make some vegan cupcakes for herself and any others who want them. You have the right idea about making the cake if you want it to be non-vegan. There's been a few on this board who have had veganism forced on them, and sometimes the parents are really strict. For example, see the post about the mom who grounded her kid for ordering pepperoni pizza because their rules were no non-vegan food in the house. They can order takeout, but not eat it at home. Kids who have veganism forced on them tend to scoff down meat when they can. My sister is a stay-at-home wife, no kids for now. Her and her husband had been discussing getting a housekeeper to help clean the windows and bathrooms, since she said it took a long time. I was visiting last weekend, and she brought it up to me, and seemed very happy. Out of pure curiosity, and since I clean my house by myself being unwed, I asked her how long it took to do that since it didn't take me too long. She got defensive and upset, which I wasn't expecting. She said I should try cleaning her 2 bathrooms, toilets and showers, and windows, so I can see how long it takes her if I want to know so badly. So, I did. I got out the scrubbing bubbles, the toilet and shower brush. Sprayed down the shower and toilets with it. Then went and sprayed and cleaned the windows. Went back, scrubbed the toilets and showers. About half an hour later I was done. I guess she made it seem like to her husband that it took her hours to do what I did in half an hour. She once again got very mad, started yelling until she let out that fine I lied about how long it takes, because I hate cleaning those. To no surprise her husband got mad then. He said if she had been honest about just not wanting to clean those that would have been fine, but the fact that she lied about it gave him pause, and he said he was gonna rethink hiring someone if she thinks she can lie to get what she wants. I hopped out of there fast as I could. I didn't mean to expose a lie, I was just trying to understand my sister more. Would I be the idiot? You're the idiot. I'm sorry, but that was really none of your business. If your sister and her husband get a housekeeper or don't, it really had absolutely nothing to do with you. Also, if you wanted to understand your sister more you could have just talked to her in private instead of putting her on the spot in front of her husband. I'm not saying it was correct of your sister to lie to her husband, yes she should have been honest, but you were out of line with the whole situation. You're the idiot. Clearly, there are some underlying issues between you and your sister, because I can't imagine feeling the need to undermine my sis to her husband to the extent that I go clean a goddamn bathroom. Then come here with this crap reasoning. I didn't mean to expose a lie, I was just trying to understand my sister more. If her husband knew a thing about cleaning himself, he would realize there's no need for a housekeeper for a family of 2 with one as a stay-at-home. You are the idiot. The sad part about this whole thing is that you didn't do it to prove her wrong, you did it because you think your sister is lazy and entitled and wanted to prove a point, which definitely speaks to how terrible you think of your sister. This issue goes far beyond a housekeeper, and I suspect you know that too. Before you deny this or try to delete the comment, you need to remember some advice. The bridges you burn early are usually the ones you'll wish you had back later in life. I'm a server at a semi-popular restaurant in my city. I'm in college and this summer I've been interning with my state's House of Representatives. I love both opportunities, but something recently happened. I've been serving at this restaurant since high school, and I am now 21. I've basically had the same schedule since I started working, and so have some of the other servers. One, in particular, Lindsay, has started working there this past year, and I've grown to like her. She's a single mom and all she does is work to give her kid anything she could ever want. She reminds me of my mom, who was also a single mother but didn't have time for me or my siblings because all she did was work all the time. I want to help her give her daughter what I wish my mom gave me. Anyway, I'm scheduled to come in at 3 p.m. and I'm Lindsay's relief. For the past summer, I've been coming in around 1 or 2 so that Lindsay can leave earlier, beat the traffic, and get her kid from daycare before they close at 3:30. The daycare is about an hour away, so this works out perfectly. I even sometimes finish serving her tables and save the tip for her anyway. Earlier in the week, I had a pretty long day because I come to my serving job right after my internship. I was super tired because I also spent all night doing law school admission test prep. I decided to take a nap for that hour and a half and go into work closer to 3. I get to work and Lindsay doesn't say a word to me and left. I figured she had a crappy day and I didn't want to bother her, so I didn't say anything either. I kept coming in at my scheduled time for the rest of the week. Yesterday I came in and I see all the other servers gathered around Lindsay, who's in tears. I say hi to everyone and get the dirtiest looks. I ask what's wrong, and apparently, Lindsay has to find a new daycare for her kid because she's been coming in an hour late to pick her up. Of course, she blames it on me being late this week. And I tell her I was sorry, but I never came in late. I came in when I was supposed to, and that before this week I've been coming in extremely early so that I could help her out. But that didn't mean I owed it to her to do every time. I have things going on in my own life that I gotta deal with, and I'm sure if she wanted to she could have worked out a better schedule with the managers, who are really nice, or put her kid in a daycare that's closer and more convenient. I don't think I did anything wrong, but now all my co-workers are insulting me, ignoring me, and refusing to cover my shifts. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Lindsay should be grateful that you would come in up to 2 hours early while balancing the restaurant and an internship. It's gonna screw for the rest of the summer, only a couple weeks though, as your coworkers are gonna feel more sympathy for your coworker than you and probably won't be nice for the rest of the time. I'd talk to your boss if you plan on coming back to explain the situation and make sure people stop giving you crap. If you aren't going to work at the restaurant again, ignore it and find a better place. Your coworkers are ridiculous. They can't insult you because of that. If they won't listen to you, talk to your boss. I also wouldn't bother talking to Lindsay. She thinks she's entitled to you doing special favors for her. Your boss needs to have a town hall-like announcement that you've been coming in on time and even came in 1 or 2 hours earlier usually. Worst case scenario, no one believes your boss, odd, but they're hating on you already, so no loss. Best case scenario, they realize Lindsay is an idiot. Not the idiot. You're under no obligation to give up your free time. Your shift didn't start till 3. If she was worried, maybe she could have messaged you. But it definitely isn't your fault or your responsibility. If it was that dire, maybe someone else could have covered. But, again, it isn't your fault. A lot of comments are saying you should have communicated, and yeah, that would have been helpful, but she didn't see you, knows how long the drive is, and is responsible for her own children. My wife and I have a happy, healthy, no chonkers cat that we love except for on weekends when he will sit outside our bedroom door and meow non-stop until one of us gets up to feed him. This only happens on weekends. Monday till Friday my wife wakes up for work first at around 6 a.m. and feeds the cat. However, on weekends, we both try to sleep in, so come 6:01 a.m. our kitty alarm clock goes off and won't shut up until one of us gets up to feed him. He will literally cry for 2 hours straight if we try to ignore him. Here's where the story takes a twist. A while back we bought a timed self-feeder to use when we are away for vacations. When we tested out the self-feeder we discovered the amazing benefit of the cat no longer crying to us for food because he gets fed at his usual time each morning. I thought this was fabulous and we should use the self-feeder all the time to save our sleep sanity. My wife disagreed. Her reasons range from concerned that the self-feeder might not drop the correct amount of food each time, concerned the cat might be able to reach his little murder mitten up the food chute and steal extra food between meals, concerned the cat won't love us anymore since we aren't the ones directly pouring his food into his dish, concerned it's a waste of batteries. I've told my wife I understand all of her concerns, but I still think the benefit of being able to sleep in without being woken up by a cat banshee outweighs the risk she has laid out. She still disagrees. So I did the only thing that Reddit hates more in relationships than cheating and gave my wife an ultimatum. I told her that we either use the self-feeder or come 6:01 AM Saturday morning when the cat wakes us both up, I'm kicking her, not literally, out of bed to go feed the damn cat. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your wife is being irrational. Also, to be honest, it's not just about you guys and your need for sleep. Your cat has a routine and knows when he needs to be fed. If your wife doesn't want to use the cat feeder at the weekends, she should get up and feed him at the weekends. If you use the automatic feeder and he does fish additional food out, then you can accept that she was right and had a valid point. Or you just put enough food in there for that first morning meal and feed him yourselves later in the day. The whole point of having an automatic cat feeder is that it feeds your cat so you don't have to. We have a single meal feeder with a lid that pops up. Never had a problem with it. Would one of these be an option purely for weekend use? That way, there's no possibility of overfeeding from a drip feeder, cat gets to eat, you get to lay in. If she's worried about it not working, I doubt that will be a problem. If it doesn't open, your cat will definitely let you know. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. Both of my cats have their own auto feeders set to go at the same times. We originally got one for my older cat because she was getting really bad acid reflux and throwing up if she went more than 7 hours without eating, but it's not like we could come home mid-workday to feed her. Those machines are marvelous. My cats are always fed, they still love us ridiculously, and we've never had problems with it only giving a small amount of food. Pick her out of bed if she doesn't want to take the easiest route.